Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. The streak is over, but it'll be back. Here with Gabby. Gabby, how you doing today, man?
I'm all right, I guess.
I think it's highly ironic that, her head was too hot to record after a draw, but her head's fine to record after.
Brother, he did not want me on that pod. That's exactly why I said I know people were like, "Oh, she's ducking the Chelsea pod." Listen to me. I told them specifically, win or lose, I will not be on that. I will not be on that pod. I do not give a damn.
Yeah, you genuinely might be the only person I know that hates Chelsea more than me, and I'm so serious. Like,
that game had my head really hot. Like,
yeah. So yeah.
Actually, you know what I will say?
Go.
That game, just because I wasn't here for this, I will say I had a realization about myself the other day after that game. I don't think I'm a lover of the game for real. Because I cannot give rivals praise when they have good performances against. The way that people were praising Reece James, that shit made me so mad. Like, I was like, I don't care how good he played, bro. That guy is shit. Like,
yeah. Do you know what?
I was like, I don't love the game enough for this. I just don't.
The thing is, it's fine. Like, I think that applies because it's Chelsea. It's actually fine. Genuinely, it's actually fine. Chelsea don't deserve any praise. I can't believe we're starting to put like this, buddy, but they just genuinely don't deserve any praise anyway. So it is what it is. But yeah, let's get into a couple of things here before we really get into the meat of the loss. Did you watch the World Cup draw by any chance?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I didn't. So I need you to kind of like fill me in on little bits here and there because I just thought it was. To be fair, I didn't really have time to as well. But on top of that as well, I had no interest in watching it. So.
To be fair, I only watched the actual drawing part. Like everything else that happened, I wasn't there for that. I don't know. I was like, a halftime performance and people talking about other things. I turned it on. I said, why the fuck is Shaq here? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. I mean, I heard his dad joke, and I saw it. I was just like, okay, I'm really glad that I missed all this bullshit. The only reason why I asked if you watch it is because there seems to be this sort of idea that you can essentially you can sports wash as long as you're not brown, basically. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it felt like. That's genuinely what it felt like. There was so much that fanfare and bullshit around that. Well, this is not the pod for it anyway. But I think it's important that we at least addressed whatever the hell that was. But yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys. We're not going to start the pod until you do, and comment as well. So we're just going to literally wait for you guys to essentially do that. We actually start podding.
Yeah, I'll actually comment on this video specifically on YouTube and tell Mitch to fuck his positivity. Because look what it got us today.
AFCON is starting in less than 20 days at this point, and we're covering every single match day. So please lock in with us for that. But with that being said, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Our lineups. So Gabby, we went with Raya, Calafiori, Capier, Timber at centre back, and Rice. And then we went with what I've now dubbed our home run midfield, Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard, with Saka, Marino, and Eza. Tell me your initial thoughts on that, because I have a few.
I actually think it's interesting that we didn't put Ben White at center back. I think it's because of one of two things. Like either Arteta is trying to protect him at fullback. We would prefer to put him at fullback because the way that our center backs play, they have to get stuck in. They just have to. And you're doing a lot of running towards goal against Aston Villa. We had a lot of transitions today that we had to cover. And I think they're really worried about his knee. They're like, we kind of have to play Ben White in this stretch now because of the injury crisis we have at the back now. But they were really being careful with him because Ben White cooked his body for us. Like, if we're being real, Ben White cooked his body for us and played through injury for 2 seasons. So, and then the other thing was, I think that it's just so much more important to have him at fullback because of his attacking creativity. Like, his attacking output is, I mean, we saw against Brentford, but they were telling me my man was cooked. he's not cooked yet.
Yeah.
We still got plenty left in you. Everything else is what I expected, though.
Yeah, I think my thoughts were probably wondering why we started Ezra, actually. I generally thought if we're going with Marino and Saka in the front line, then Ezra probably shouldn't start. It should have been Martinelli. That was my Martinelli or Madueke, to be honest, because the game was stretched, and the reason why Ezra came off, we'll get to that, in that first came off at halftime was because there was nothing happening down that left-hand side, basically, in terms of getting at them. So I don't think he was probably best placed to start there, unless we were going to start with Gyökeres. But yeah, that was probably my own sort of question mark, that Marino's really tired as well. He's a ball-to-feet player, so is Ezra. We'll get onto my point about Saka a little bit later on as well. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling that. So the initial exchanges, I'll give you a bit of an assist here, just to make your life easier, because she's not a real Arsenal fan, guys. She missed, right, due to other, important commitments, allegedly.
I don't want to hear this shit, because when you lot have to wake up in the morning for those World Cup games, I don't want to hear no complaining. This came out at 7:30 in the morning for me, okay?
Yeah, sorry, that's not a good enough excuse, unfortunately. No, I'm joking. But yeah, the game started really quite intense, with both teams wanting to what's what we're looking for, wanting to win it high and put each other under pressure. Gabby, just looking at our fixture list coming up to this kind of thing, did you expect Arsenal to try and go that way? Because I was thinking we were going to try to sort of manage it.
I think we started fast in this game, genuinely, because I think they know they have to kill games off early. I think they have to kill games off early, because when it comes down to the stretch, especially the way our team, our actual squad is stretched now, with the injuries, they look tired. They look so tired. They kind of have to blam teams in that first half for us to get what I think we deserve, because I think on paper we all know that we are the better team. We are better than Aston Villa, obviously. But Villa Park is a hard place to play, especially like the away games that we've had recently. They've taken a toll. A lot of physicality. They need to get that early goal. Unfortunately, we didn't get it today.
Yeah, I think there's a piece actually that's coming out soon, I hope, about Arsenal's sort of resilience this season and our second half sort of performances. And it, ironically, while I don't disagree with you, ironically actually kind of goes against the notion of us trying to win games early. But I absolutely see the point today. It had to be one of those games where if we could get a couple of goals in the first half, cool, fair enough. And I think that's what we recognised. We recognised that kind of thing. What that did do, I think, was probably give Villa a bit of an incentive to think, oh, there's gaps here, guys. Like, we can actually go, and we've got good players ourselves. But yeah, Odegaard, our first chance, ball was one high. I think it was Zuberman. You might have been Rice. He wins it off, I believe, Onana. Gives it to Saka. Saka gets it to Odegaard, and Odegaard shoots. Really good shot from outside the box. I think this is a good... Remember I always mentioned ticks, right? This is one of Odegaard's ticks. Him locking his ankle and shooting from distance. Are we back, Gabby?
I hope so. Funnily enough, I saw a lot of people. I've been logged out of Twitter basically this whole week. I've only checked it late at night for maybe an hour, and then I'm done. But I've seen a few people who are like, I don't like the way we play with Odegaard, and I'm like, it's very weird how people forget how he started this season. He started this season very
well,
obviously with injuries, but very well. In the games that he did play, he was playing well, and we were creating an abundance of chances. And I think that's what we did today. I mean, he wasn't creating as much, but he was shooting more, which is what I think we're always asking him to do. And this wasn't his only shot. I mean, obviously this was the early shot, but this wasn't his only shot today. That I thought was really good. I was like, yes, we need. I actually, funnily enough, I thought this was the game more than any other game. The game to have a lot of long shots, because we were going to have a lot of transitions in this game, and Villa was going to say, break us down, do the mid block. And I'm like, we need somebody to shoot at Emi Martinez. Because the one thing about him, he's going to parry into danger. Like, he's a bozo. Shoot. Shoot. And I think they got that imperative early. Like, shoot the ball. There was a few good moments, and I was like, okay, we're starting off well. Can we get the goal to cap it off? I mean, we didn't get it in the first half, but I was hoping we could.
So here's the thing with momentum. It can go at any time, which is really annoying because we start well, we get a good shot off on the edge of the box, and then they get one straight away. A one-on-one, essentially a one-on-one with Raya. Even though I personally think Calafiori was fouled in the build-up. But McGinn puts through Watkins, and Raya makes a really good save. But I have to admit, Watkins, I love him as a player, but he's had too many of these sorts of games, I think, where he misses very good chances. Like this game last season, he could have had a hat-trick, and then today, again, that chance as well. What was your sort of, like, I suppose, thoughts after those two chances, like, happened in quick succession? Do you think, this is going to be a real football match, an end-to-end thing?
Yeah. I think every time we play Villa, it feels like that, though.
Yeah.
It's like, I say this about so many teams, and I hate that we have so many ops, but genuinely, this felt like their cup final. Like, Emery always rises it against us. He hates us. This is the one game he, like, tactically, he is superb in. He always sets his team up correctly against Arsenal. And whether they win or lose, they almost always play well. I don't think there's ever been a Villa game where they've played extremely poorly against us.
I think I'm with you on that. And I think a lot of that's due to the fact that I generally feel like he feels he was hard done by Arsenal. But listen, mate, you'll never manage us again, bro. So just get over it. Like, just fuck off. Man. But yeah, so Saka now, we're talking about long distance shooting. Saka has a great shot from outside the box. And this all comes about from the fact he has loads of time behind the midfield and in front of the defence to set himself. He's making a run infield. I want to see more of that from Saka. I know he's pretty complete, but seeing stuff like that, do you agree that you want him to be able to just start shooting from distance more, even if it's a little bit unconventional?
I think it's funny that we say we want to see more of it from him because we used to see a lot of it from him. I feel like Saka used to shoot outside the box a lot. Like the goals that come to mind is, I think it's one against Forest that he shot outside the box. It was like a screamer. And obviously I always remember the one against Manchester United where he just curls it like from outside the box. I'm like, you're good at that. Shoot from there.
I believe his first goal for us was a right-footed curler from outside the box as well, in a Europa League game. His first couple of goals, actually, I remember in the Europa League were from outside the box as well. But I just think, do you know what? Let's just do it now, actually. Going back to Arteta's comments about Saka being our best finisher, I just think just getting him the ball in shooting areas, I don't want anybody else kind of taking the shot. And I think we should just lean into that more. I think it's a good tactic,
I think that's an interesting comment from Arteta. I didn't know he said that because I do not think Saka is our best finisher.
I'll find the clip. I might even splice it into this.
I think he's our best player, but I do not think he's our best finisher.
I personally think our best finisher is most likely Trossard, but it's between him and Martinelli, funnily enough. But it's most likely Trossard, because Trossard...
Yeah, I would say Trossard.
So, but I think Arteta's probably taken into account a lot of things. The fact that Saka can do it off the dribble so often with both feet. So that probably plays a part as well. But yeah, I just think, I don't mind him. I don't mind him, taking like 7 shots a game. Doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's when I can't remember who the commentator was today, but he said in the second half about Saka that like every time he gets the ball, I always expect something to happen. And that's how it is. I mean, we are biased because we are Arsenal fans, but I genuinely believe even rival fans, like casual fans who watch the game, if you're watching Saka, you're going to expect something to happen, especially when he takes a shot. He is a very, very, very good creator, and we know that, but he's also a very good shooter. And I honestly I think that's the thing, as good as I think he is at that, I wish he would tighten up with his finishes a little bit better. Because I do think he blazes over or he snatches that shot sometimes. but I think there's a reason why he's shooting. Like, because at the beginning of the season, I had this conversation with a friend about if our strikers are not scoring, let's say, or Trossard is not the guy, who is going to be the guy? Because every title-winning team has someone who has, like, you don't have to have 20 goals, but you're going to have to get at least 15.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to get at least 15 in the season. And I'm like, who's it going to be? And I think the question turns into, it has to be Saka. It kind of has to be Saka.
Yeah, he has to be the guy. And I think this is a really good segue, actually. It's an excellent segue, because this is why I kind of had issues with our lineup. So you probably wouldn't have seen it on Twitter, but about 10 minutes before the game, I'm having a look at the lineup. I'm like, oh, okay, so Saka's going to be our highest player. It makes the most sense. We've got Marino and Eza with Odegaard in the team. Who's going to be our actual outlet here? It has to be Saka. And that's sort of like a two or 3 part job there, where Saka kind of has to be our creator, has to be our outlet, has to even hold up the ball for us, and also has to be our one sort of threat in behind here. And then literally halfway through this the first half, we get a graph up on the screen. I might put it up, I might not. You guys can see it now. But you look at the cluster of players and you see Saka way out on his own, basically. And I was like, okay, yeah. My eyes weren't deceiving me and my thoughts weren't deceiving me. And I suppose I want to ask you, like, do you think away from home that's a good plan, considering that Saka is quick, but he's not Madueke or Martinelli quick?
I think it's a good plan because he's our best player.
Mm-hmm.
He is a very, excuse me, he's a very good problem solver. So if he's our highest forward and we need to transition, you know he's going to pull at least 2 to 3 players towards him.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are coming towards him. At any given time, he has a double team on him, like if we're being real. So at least then, if he's our farthest forward, you know the runners behind him will be more open if he is going to cut it back, or he's going to get a ball across the 6, or even if he gets a shot away and it gets a rebound, somebody else will be open. I think it is a smart play to do that. Now, granted, he is not the fastest. He's not going to, especially after the hamstring and surgery, he's not going to sprint past his man most of the time.
I think, do you know what? Yeah, I think quite a few times today, I think he's never ever been this, the lightning player kind of thing. But I'm not concerned about his pace, to be honest, because if you can get round Ian Matson on the outside multiple times, you're quick enough. You're quick, like that's just a fact of life. You're quick enough. But yeah, I think, I think you're right in the sense that he's definitely not our quickest player, but he's got more than enough about him to cause a threat there. In midfield, Gabby, lots of space for both teams, by the way. Why do you think that is? Here we go.
Take a drink of water like I'm Pep Guardiola. Man. Well, unfortunately, like, we had Moreno up top today, so when he plays, he drops deep to collect the ball and have runners like left and right of him going forward. But Villa didn't give a fuck about what was going on with Moreno. They just completely ignored him. And Villa has powerful runners in their midfield, specifically Morgan Rogers. They're very good. Like I said, they're very good at transitioning, but they have powerful runners. McGinn, Rogers, Onana to a certain extent. I think that we are ball progressors, but we are not necessarily runners, especially when we're tired. The way that we were open in that midfield made me stressed. I was like, anytime a game gets basketball-y and open like that, we're cooked. Like, we're cooked. That's just not the way that we want to play. I know we can deal with it, but we don't handle it as well, especially when you're missing your top 2 center backs. We don't handle it as well as I feel other teams do. I think we need to get some control.
Yeah, I think you kind of glossed over the fact that our centre backs were missing. I think that plays a huge part. I think not just because of their physical attributes and their.
To be fair, I feel like I gloss over it because it's kind of like setting up an excuse, but it's not an excuse. It's just something is.
It's a fact. It's a fact. But I kind of want to, I suppose, get a little bit more forensic with it, because when you're looking at their physical attributes and how they impose themselves, kind of thing, that's one part of the equation. But it's also their communication and the mental sort of effect it has on the opposition, but also on our players as well. If we're leaving gaps in our midfield, basically like that with Saliba and Gabriel, they're eating up the ground. They're going to make sure that there isn't that much what's we're looking for, space for players to sort of maneuver and turn and face kind of thing. But also when we get the ball kind of thing, both of them are depth progressors as well kind of thing. That kind of has an effect on how a team, to me, sets up against us as well. So
I think
when
that's the key thing that you just said right there. Not to cut you off, but like progressors of the ball, without Saliba and Gabriel progressing the ball, did you see how deep Zubimendi and Declan Rice were dropping?
Yeah.
I know they normally one or two of them drop in between the center backs,
yeah.
but they were both deep. And Odegaard also started, and he was also deep. I was like, we're just completely vacating the midfield because we cannot get the ball forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I think that's not even a bad plan because we were still finding gaps, but a function of us being, I think, a little bit fatigued as well was the fact that we were essentially slowing down the play and then going kind of thing, rather than us, trying to essentially beat them at their own game. It was a weird first half because we didn't play badly, and neither did Villa, to be fair. And I think we were slightly the better side, but I couldn't be mad when Villa scored. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose let's get on that and let's talk about Eze, actually. So
I mean, it's really the only person to talk about it in this moment.
Yeah. I mean, again, this to me, is I wouldn't say Arteta set him up to fail, but I suppose what did you make of his first half in general in relation to just the setup and just how Calafiori and everybody else sort of interacted with him?
I mean, this is going to sound really harsh, but I thought he was poor in that first half. I mean, a lot of people were poor because we were very sloppy with our passes. But we were losing the ball a lot. Him, Saka was aggravating me in that first half, losing the ball. Moreno, I felt like we just couldn't get a grip of the game at all. And it culminated in that chance. One switch off, which it very much reminded me of Zinchenko. Just not paying attention to the person behind you. And you could see it if anybody had watched the replay of that goal and the way that they zoom in on Matty Cash when he's sprinting in, if you see Eze's face, he knows it. He's like, oh shit. And then he starts to sprint, but he's already too far ahead of him. And Raya had already made a big save before that. I was like, he's not going to save you every time. He made actually a few good saves in this game to keep us in it. And I was like, of course, he perfectly places it underneath him. Like, if he doesn't switch off there, maybe we get a block in, maybe it goes out for a corner, maybe it ricochets into the box, but at least we get the first shot out.
Yeah.
First shot. It almost felt like first shot, first goal, even though it wasn't their first shot. I was just like, all right.
Do you know what's mad? Rice saved a shot from Matty Cash from that position earlier in the half. So we were already warned. Like, he literally got across goal and blocked a shot that was going on target, and Rice hit him down the side. He had to even take a breather for like a couple of seconds. So we were already warned, and I hate when teams, like for us especially, recognize like, oh, there's a bit of a chance here, and they don't get it the first time, but then they get it the second time. We don't react to that sort of danger because that's essentially what it was. They realize, oh, if Matty Cash goes in behind, we could probably get him in again, which is what happened. But yeah, Eze with the ball today was probably the most disappointing thing, I think. Yeah, we weren't getting the ball to him as well. And I understand that the attack probably wasn't set up for him to sort of thrive today, even though I do think he can be excellent from the left. He just didn't, and he got a rest midweek as well. He just didn't do enough for me. Like, he wasn't coming for the ball enough. He wasn't, when he did get the ball, he slipped a few times as well. It's going to sound crazy to say, it just seemed like there was even a lack of confidence a little bit today.
I don't know if there's a lack of confidence necessarily in him. I just feel like he is very primed to have games like this. I mean, we've talked about this before. He has moments or games where he's just completely off it. Like, low touch player. I would prefer I know he is a good creator, but I honestly prefer if we just use him as a final touch merchant where you just use him as a shooter. He doesn't need to be on the ball as much because he cannot do what Odegaard can do in that midfield position.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of our issues we had in the past, which you've addressed, is the fact that we didn't have enough sort of players that could just, have that one moment of magic kind of thing. And Eze is absolutely one of those players. So again, when assessing him, you got to assess him through the lens of what Eze is and not what Odegaard is or whoever else is kind of thing. But I just think even by looking at him through that lens today, there just wasn't enough. I mean, even Rice won the ball, drove with it, cut in and got a shot off, and I don't think Eze did any of that today. I mean, he scored an offside goal, fair enough, but there wasn't
that
enough.
That would make me sad. I thought for sure we got that too. I was like,
it was a really good move as well, man. And look, I'm not like onto him and criticizing him for oh yeah, you're rubbish, you're the reason why I lost kind of thing. But it's just a little bit disappointing that, with the rest, we just didn't get anything out of him today.
And I think it's on top of the performances he's had recently. That's what it is. It's because he's been building on his building some momentum, especially after the North London derby.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just oh, maybe we're not building necessarily. And honestly, I really want to see Odegaard back in midfield. I mean, he's not just because he's our captain and he's the metronome. He keeps the midfield ticking. But I just want to see the starter start. I just want to see the starter start. And we did not buy Eze to play in the midfield. Contrary to popular belief, he can play there, and Arteta is going to play him there further on in the season. But we plot him to play on the left wing, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and I think due to our embarrassment of riches, we're sort of almost, I feel like we're even taking it for granted a little bit, because him not playing well, usually that would mean, we're fucked then, basically. Do you know what I mean? Now it's just well, we'll just sub someone else in. As much as we want him to be a starter kind of thing. But I think it's good. It's good that we can sort of take players out the spotlight and somebody else can come in and do a job. But yeah, look, after the Villa goal, we get a couple of more chances again. Saka going on the outside of Maatsen and creating for White. And then Rice, the chance I mentioned earlier, wins it high and he cuts in and shoots. So yeah, going into half time, what were your initial thoughts? What subs would you have made, and any sort of random observations, I suppose?
I said we needed some more control. I was in my group chat talking to some of the other Arsenal fans, and they were all like, we need to get Gyökeres on. More than anything, we need to get Gyökeres on. We need to stretch them a little bit, and he needs to pull some defenders to him. We can't have Moreno coming deep because he's not having the effect that he normally has on the ball when he comes deep. They're just completely ignoring him, and the ball is not sticking to him because the passing was very sloppy. Not just by him, but by a few other players in the front. Yeah. So I was actually not surprised when Arteta made his subs.
Yeah. Yeah. Just on Marino, I think we just got to give him grace today, and also give him his flowers. He has played every minute of every game for the last 2 months, I want to say. He has played a lot. And he hasn't complained. He hasn't even during games, he's been rising it. Late in the 85th minute, he's still making full 100% sprints and stuff like that. And I feel like today was a step too. Marino basically was a summation of pretty much Arsenal today. I feel like today in this run was a step too far. Genuinely, that's what I feel like. So we tried to get 45 minutes out. We tried to even, had he played well in that first half, he probably would have stayed on, but I genuinely think his body probably gave about 45 minutes, and that was 45 minutes in reserve, basically.
Yeah, he's just one of those players that he's so useful, we cannot lose right now. I understand taking him off, not just because he didn't play well, but I think he's so important. And funnily enough, when he didn't score in that first half, I kind of knew that we weren't going to win this game. I said, if Moreno's coming off and he hasn't scored yet, I was like, we'll probably get a draw. We'll probably get a draw.
Yeah, it was look, it was a tough game for him, but I'm not blaming him for anything. I just think it was genuinely a step too far. So yeah, on the subs, Trossard on for Eze, Yok on for Marino. Again, we've pretty much got our whole attack back. I say that, but then Havertz and Jesus are still missing. We've got most of our attack back, should I say now? And I like the sub. I can't lie to you. What did you think of it? I feel like it's very intentional. It was pointed as well.
I will never complain about Trossard coming on.
Mm.
I will never complain about Trossard coming on. One thing he's going to give me is some GA, period. I thought it was important for him to be proactive. Not Trossard, Arteta. I think it was important for him to be proactive and be like, you know what? I'm not going to give them 15 minutes to try to get into them after tactical instruction. Just change it. Just change it now. Because you've seen that whole 45 minutes what was going on. Like, we needed a little bit more control. And as soon as Trossard came on, not just that he scored, and Gyökeres, lo and behold, guess who got more possession? Guess who had the metronome ticking in the midfield? Odegaard.
Yeah.
Odegaard on the ball a lot more in that second half.
Yeah, I think the third. Let's probably just talk about the first 20 minutes, because that first 20 minutes of the second half was probably as good relative to opposition, shall I say, as what we gave at Sunderland for most of that second half, and probably Newcastle as well. Like, we were really, really bloody good, despite Villa. Again, story of the day, I'd say, getting chances from our own mistakes. When we did have the ball, Odegaard was really, really, really good. You mentioned that obviously you think it was to do with the fact that Gyökeres was occupying the centre backs, and obviously Trossard as well, being a final third machine. But what particularly did you notice about Odegaard sort of stepping up?
He was floating through the lines a lot, and I know a lot of people were complaining about they don't like the way he plays because we play too slow. But there is a reason for that. There's a reason for the patience. And while it is frustrating for me, after what happened in that first half, I was like, we need a little bit of patience. You need to make them defend a little bit. Like, make them trust that we are so good on the ball that they cannot get out. They cannot leave any open space. And even though I don't think they left that much open space, he's still finding it. Finding himself drifting in pockets of space. You saw him have, I think he had a shot or two in that second half that I was like, yeah.
There was one off the dribble. Yeah, there was one off the dribble where he's beat, like, he's essentially got past three players, but he's faked out one, and I was like, yeah. Odegaard is actually back. He's
doing his thing that I always praise him for the most, which is his through balls. That ball into that ball into Trossard.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. Like, this is exactly why I need him to play with Gyökeres more, because they haven't really played that much football together this season. I was like, Gyökeres always wants to run in behind. That's what he wants to do. Odegaard is very, very good at through balls. I don't know why people keep saying his final ball is not that great. Listen,
I think it's the technique. I think more than anything, funny enough, it's not like because he's got the vision, he's got the ability. It's the consistency of the weight of his final pass. That is the sticking point. And let me be clear. Having a good final pass is something that you are. I personally, I think it's something that you're born with. I don't think it's something that you can that you just train to have. That's my opinion on that ability, because if you look at over the years, those sorts of players that have like great final passes, you start, and I'm not talking about attritional. I'm talking about players that just can do it at any time, because people say Bruno Fernandes has a great final pass. Bruno Fernandes is an attritional final passer. It's not. He's not efficient with it. If you're talking about efficiency, you're talking Fabregas. You're talking
Kevin De Bruyne.
You're talking Kevin. Even Kevin De Bruyne to a degree is a little bit attritional as well. But I'll give you Kevin De Bruyne because he does it with both feet. You're talking Messi, obviously. There's. I wouldn't even put Xavi and Iniesta into that category, because those guys aren't final passers. They're everything else, but they're not amazing final passes kind of thing. So it's like you're talking about a very select few. So I can't really use that as a stick to beat him with more than anything. Do you know what I mean? So, but he probably needs to become a bit more attritional, if I'm being honest, in regards to into those attempts. But yeah, I was really like, honestly, we were going off in a group chat because we were just like, yeah, this is the Odegaard that I've always known has always been there, regardless of injuries, kind of thing. And people are like, yes, he's back. And I think it's a huge part in the season now where we're still dealing with injuries, kind of thing, but our captain is back. That is just it's filled me with so much joy. I can't even lie. It really
It's so
has.
funny because I kind of wish Dean was here so I could be like, you listen to all the things that we're saying about it.
He'll have some shit to say, I'm sure. I'm definitely
Listen,
sure.
my man want to bin him off.
So yeah, our pressure finally told, and again, I believe it's from if I remember correctly, it was from the ball one high and Odegaard. Yes, it was. It was Rice versus Onana. Good challenge from him. Ball gets to Odegaard. Odegaard gives it to Saka. Saka takes it on the outside again. Another really good sign. Across goal. Trossard there to finish. I thought we were going to win the game after that, personally. But how about you? How are you feeling?
You're optimistic because I said we can win the game after this if we keep on with the momentum, but I did not think we were going to win. Funnily, I know people are going to say that's negative, but I know my team. I know my team. I was like, we're going to concede a lot more chances because of the way we were still so open. I was like, we had to keep up with the momentum, and the way the momentum shifted after that, and we just couldn't get a grip of the game. They just kept on coming down our throats. Pause.
Hey, yo.
That's my bad. That was a bit too much. But the game is the game. The game is the game. I was like, it's not looking good, bruv. Because when you think about, I don't want to gloss over the goal because we know how good Trossard is and we know how good a finisher he is. But if we go a little bit past that, once he came off, I was like, oh, we're really not winning this game because I don't know who's going to score after this. Trossard came off, and Saka came off. I was like,
yeah, but I'll tell you what, it's not Saka. Trossard came off long before he actually physically came off, by the way, because he was limping for a minute. I don't know if anybody picked up on that, but yeah, he was limping for a minute. I suppose now is better than any time to talk about it. Let's talk about our actual defense and why things were happening the way they were happening. So I'll let you have a stab at it first, Gabby. But Hincapié and Timber, if you're ranking our defensive partnerships, how high or how low would you rank that partnership in terms of where you'd put it in terms of priority?
Low. And anything with any partnership with one of Saliba and Gabriel is always first before anything else. And maybe I rate Hincapié higher than most people because they haven't seen him for us that much.
Or because you fancy him as well, so there's that as well. So.
I mean, he is big sexy. We know this. We know this. But I do think he's the only one with the Gabriel gene. He wants to get stuck in. He's a rah-rah player. I like the way he plays for us and he plays for Ecuador. So that's I just feel like he's the most like Gabriel. And anyone likes Gabriel, I favor towards.
He's
so
great in the air as
after,
well, so there's that.
Exactly. So after any center back partnership with either Gabriel or Saliba, it's Hincapié and someone.
Yeah.
Now we have seen Hincapié and Mascara multiple times. And that has issues of its own. I do think it's because of lack of playing time together, like cohesiveness, and also the fact that they are both adjusting to the Premier League.
Yeah.
However, Hincapié and Timber, I don't know if I want to see that again. I do not know if I want to see that again. Like I said earlier, I am surprised that we didn't just shift Ben White over to make him a center back. Because the way that Timber was, I felt like this again in the last game as well, a little bit. Even though he wasn't playing, obviously, Timber was not playing center back. I was like, Timber going down like a sack of potatoes a little bit. I don't like that. He's the way he can buy fouls or get past players on the touchline is very different when you're in open space because the way that we play, we leave our center backs on an island and we expect you to cover a lot of ground. And they normally do pretty well. I just thought that maybe it's because they're not talking to each other as much. Because Gabriel is very much a talker, Saliba less so, but he is the standout center back in that pairing. The way that I was watching them play together, I was like, we're leaving a lot of space for people to run in behind, and I don't like the way that you guys are talking to each other, the communicating with each other, and it wasn't just with each other; it was also with Raya.
Yeah, there was a, you know what's so funny? There was a chance.
Backs.
Yeah, there was a chance, right, where Tielemans, who was really good today. I've been really, really harsh on him, and I still am, but he was decent today. He tries to put through Morgan Rogers. Now Morgan Rogers already knows he's not going to get to the ball, but if Morgan Rogers is a little bit more alert, he probably has a chance to. And the reason why that came about is because Hincapié is way too close to Timber, rather than actually managing the space between him and Calafiori. So that gap between the centre back and the fullback, is wide open, basically for Tielemans to play into. And I think when we're talking about Arsenal's season so far, 75% of it has probably been built on our defensive solidity and having both Saliba and Gabriel fit, or at least one of them fit, basically. And since that has gone, we have been fine. To be honest, we've been fine. You know, we smashed Bayern, we smashed Tottenham, kind of thing, and we've been okay. But over, again, the word attritional here. Attritionally, over the course of
that's the word of the day, huh?
Yeah, over the course of a few results, basically, you start to feel the effects of not having the two best centre backs in the league or in Europe in your team. I don't care how good your defensive structure is. You need players of a certain ilk to be able to maximize it,
and that's what it is.
Yeah,
quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I think that we both know that Hincapié, Mosquera, Timber, Ben White, they're all very good players.
Yeah.
We're not saying that they're bad, because they are not. However, they are not Saliba and Gabriel. They're just not. Nobody is Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah, they're just not. And I can't really be mad at, because I'm looking at it from a, I'll probably say this for a little bit later actually, but just from a results and performance point of view, Arsenal have been getting by. Arsenal, to me, this is as impressive as Arsenal have been under Arteta, to be honest, because of the injuries we've dealt with and the fact that we've looked so good despite the injuries. So when I see a performance like this today, after the run we've been on, the fact that we played on a Wednesday, in a tough, Brentford was tough, you know, and then we play again midday away to Aston Villa, kind of thing, backed up by Chelsea, you know what I mean, Bayern, Tottenham. A result like this at Villa, even performance like this, I can't be mad at it, and I can't be, I can't be too down in the dumps over it. But I have to admit, it's been coming. That's the reality of it. It's been coming.
Unfortunately, we got out of the Hell Week kind of unscathed, because we got 2 wins, and then we got that Chelsea game that we drew. And if I'm being completely honest, and you guys know that I know y'all like to say I'm pessimistic. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I know my team. However, I would say if we had played Chelsea first, I think we win that game. I'm gonna be right with you. I think if we play Chelsea first and then play Bayern and then Tottenham, I think we win that game.
I'll be honest with you. I think even if we're looking at our sort of conditioning, which I think is what you're getting at here, had we played Villa next week, we beat Villa. Had we played Wolves today, obviously I think we beat Wolves regardless, you know what I mean? But had we played Villa next week, we beat them. And I think that's what I'm talking about, the timing of it and everything like that. It was coming. You know, I think the Sunderland game, if I remember correctly, was the game just before international break. Our first game back was Tottenham. So some of these players didn't go. Some of them didn't play a lot of minutes, kind of thing. So we're able to sort of recalibrate and stuff like that. So it's just, I think the placing of some of these matches affects how well you can perform or what sort of condition the players are coming in. You know, I've seen Arsenal sort of go life and death with teams at the bottom of the table, especially like in that 22-23 season, where we have no business going life and death with them. We're better than them.
Life and death with Leicester, you know.
life and death with Bournemouth at the time, kind of thing. And it's like, we're way better than these teams, but what condition are the players in? And I suppose this kind of leads me on to my next point. I suppose I made observation in the Brentford pod, but I saw another graph today, and Arsenal aren't running as much. Gabby.
Oh, you can tell. The eye test will tell you that we are not running as much.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
if I could use an example right here, right now, I think the ball went out to, I want to say it was McGinn on that right side. But there's a moment where the ball gets lumped down to like the goalkeeper or the center back, and they clear it out. Aston Villa center backs. They head it forward, and Declan Rice goes to, like, he sees the ball almost go past him, and he starts to like walk towards it. He's like, I'm not gonna get there. He just stops, like, genuinely. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go, and hopefully somebody's back there that can get it. And it unfortunately comes back down. I almost did it again. It comes back into the box, and I was like, if Declan Rice ain't running for real, we're not running for real. Like, because that's one person whose engine never stops. That's like saying Xhaka at his prime for us, like in that season that we went for the league the first time. If he's not running, then we're not running. Like, we're not running.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much our avatar in that regard. Like, whatever condition Declan Rice is in, that's pretty much going to take the condition the rest of the team is in as well. So, but yeah, with that being said, Villa's chances all came from, getting back to our original point, all pretty much came from our defensive mistakes. That I think there was a pass from Calafiori into Hincapié who misses it, and that gives it to, I think Odegaard misses the ball, so that gives it to Kamara. There's a chance for Malin as well. There's and it's coming down, it's not really coming down the middle of the pitch, but it's coming down our sides. And one of the main reasons that I noticed this is, I suppose, is the fact that the communication between Timber and White, and then Hincapié and Calafiori, isn't the same as Gabriel to Calafiori and Saliba to Timber as well. So it's easy for them to pick holes there. But yeah, we make our subs. Saka going off for Madueke. Talk to me. It worked against Bayern, so...
It did work against Bayern, but the Champions League is not the Premier League. And I think that as good as the opposition as Bayern is, I think you have a lot more space to run in the Champions League. There's a lot more open space, a lot more time and space on the ball. But I that's the moment I knew for sure we were not going to win that game. When Saka came off, and I know he was on the yellow card, and I understand the sub. I think I was thinking before he even made that sub, I was like, if we put on somebody, who are we taking off? Because Trossard just came on. Gyökeres just came on. Are you taking off Saka? Because he is your best creator, in my opinion, and he is on the field. He's your best goal scorer. Like, we already took off the super sub. Moreno's off now. He can't come back on.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was like, I don't know who he's taking off for him, unless he's taking off somebody in midfield and then rejigging a little bit, but I didn't think Arteta was going to do that. And then Saka came off, and I was like, let me see these first few touches from Madueke before I speak. Although I had a bad feeling, and I was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. One, you already know Madueke, at least for us. I will say for us, he's inconsistent at best when it comes to, I didn't watch him at Chelsea that much, but from what I hear, he's inconsistent at best with his finishes. But for us, he has scored exactly one goal, exactly one, and he's not created a lot. I won't say chances. He's not created a lot of goal scoring opportunities for his teammates in which they have put it into the net. No assists, no nothing. So I'm like, somebody without GA and who does not have a clutch gene for us. Could this be his, first goal in the Premier League? Maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not with the way that the game was being played. And also, we're losing a little bit of ball security when we lose Saka.
Yeah.
The ball sticks to Saka's feet. It's not the same with Madueke. It's not the same with Martinelli. Trossard and Saka, in my opinion, hold the ball well. I know a lot of people complain about Trossard giving the ball away and stuff like that, but most of the time they hold the ball well.
I think
once you let go of that security, it's like, I don't know about this one, Chief.
I think that was a business decision for Arteta, though. I think he was just looking at the game being stretched, and if Madueke or Martinelli get a run in the space kind of thing, we should make something of it. Even if they make the wrong decision, the panic that they cause, that's the intention, for them to be a bit of chaos in open space. I suppose let's just get to the most painful part of it. Hincapié was actually pretty good today, if I'm being honest. He actually
I
was.
thought he was as well. I thought he was
But
our best defender, if I'm being honest.
yeah, but he's won the ball from a loose ball and he essentially ran it out of play. He looked really tired to me. And then the clusterfuck happens. So I'll make it easy for you, Gabby. Would you prefer losing this way or getting absolutely smoked 3-0?
Oh, that's so hard. I mean, I guess losing this way because because in my mind I thought for sure we were coming out with a draw until he gives the ball away right there, like when he tries to dribble it out almost, tries to pull it forward and then it goes out on the touchline. I really was like, that right there. I'm not blaming him for what happened afterwards, but that right there comes with experience. Experience in the Premier League would tell you get the ball as far from your own goal as you possibly can. Because even if it goes all the way back to Emi Martinez, the only thing he can do is lump it forward.
Yeah.
And I trust us in the headers to try to get the ball forward. I know there were smaller people on the pitch then, but I would trust us in the headers to get the ball out at least.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got that ball out the touchline and it went straight back into our box, I said, we need to kick this out. We need to kick this out right now. We have like 30 seconds left in this game. We need to kick this ball out. Just clear it. And I said to you off screen, which I was going to say like on the pod, this goal specifically reminded me of the Etihad. And I said, that goal was very peak John Stones against us to win, like to tie that game at the Etihad when I just knew we were going to win. I just knew we were going to win that game. I was like, all right, I know we're stressed and everything and we're clearing everything, but I was like, I trust us to just see this game out. The last seconds of the game, of course, we concede. Of course we concede. And it happened exactly the way that goal happened. Ball comes into the box. There's a couple shots get away. We can't clear it. But we get a lot of blocks in. And of course, comes to the one person who can get the ball into the net. And I was like, oh, it's lost. It's lost. Like, I just knew we weren't going to get another chance after that. I was like, as soon as we get the ball back, they're going to blow the whistle. And that's exactly what happened.
Basically. I literally, as he's pulling away, I just turned the TV off. I was like, okay, cool. Let me start on this agenda. Basically,
we just know our club. Like it's so frustrating because I feel like the two goals that happened, not the chances that they created because they created a lot of chances in the game, but the two goals that actually went into the net. Genuinely, I was like, we caught life this whole game. We'll just come out with a draw. We may or may not deserve it. Whatever. At least that's what champions do. Go to a hard ground, get the point, get out. As soon as that happened, I was like, of course, both the goals come from the 1 minute we just switch off. The 1 second in which you switch off, that's when it goes into the net. You just can't switch off in the Premier League. That's how high the quality is.
Yeah. I mean, if we're looking at it from a cynical perspective, I don't think Arsenal have beaten anybody in the current top 9 this season, which is, to me, for reference, means fuck all, by the way. It does, because we've played so many hard away games already, especially within our first 7 or 8 games already. So doesn't mean anything to me. All these other teams haven't had the start that we've had, and they're still behind us. So I'm not personally fussed at all. We're coming up to the midway half of the season now. Again, not too fast, not too bothered. But going across the Premier League, week for week, consistency for consistency, Arsenal still have been the best side. Hence why we're still sitting top. City have had a good run after their first couple of losses in the season as well, and it seems like I suppose they're getting a little bit back to form despite Leeds and Fulham really giving them a scare. They won essentially their last 3 now. I think they're 3-0 up against Sunderland right now. But if I'm being honest, I can take, as painful as it is, I can take this loss because I'm looking at the bigger picture. You know, for me, our blip started against Sunderland. You know, we drew against Sunderland. Then who did we win against? We won against Tottenham.
Yeah.
Then we drew against Chelsea. Then we won against Brentford. Then we lost today. To me, that's a blip, and I'll take that.
I think if you're even going to be a little bit cynical about it, you would say those the last 3 away games we have not won. Mm-hmm. That's the only cynical thing that you can take out of it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't win against Sunderland, we didn't win against Chelsea, and we have not won against Villa.
And the thing is, the Sunderland and Villa games, they were both last minute winners or equalizers. So,
exactly. Off of the minute that you switch off, like literally.
Yeah. So it's just for me, like, it's taken the schedule, the fixtures, they've taken its toll. And if this what it looks like, taking its toll on this team, I'll take that, because I know what it looks like when the team is even 75%. When the first team is even 75% fit, we blow everybody away. That's what it looks like to me. So I'm okay. I can take it.
I kind of want to ask you, ponder a question for you, because we have been talking about injuries. Not that they're an excuse, because at this point we are next man up FC. But if there's one player in which you're like, we miss the most, who do you actually think it is?
Gabriel. I'll say it 100 times. This is not a slat on Saliba, because the answer could easily be Saliba as well. But the simple fact is, Gabriel is our spine. Gabriel can make it work with anyone. He can literally. Right. Part of the big reason why Miles Lewis-Skelly was so good last season is because he had flipping Gabriel coaching him, bro. Let me even take it a bit old school. Ashley Cole became Ashley Cole because he had Tony Adams coaching him, bro. Like, literally through games. You have literally arguably one of the greatest ever English centre backs, probably like top 3 English centre backs ever, coaching through a young left back. You have arguably the best centre back in the world coaching through a left back that's not really a left back. In fact, Ashley Cole wasn't a left back; he was a striker kind of thing. So I see similar vibes there. So Gabriel is, for me, the biggest miss. Comfortably, he's the biggest miss, because
he sets the tone. I agree.
He sets the tone for everything else. He sets the tone for absolutely everything else. So
if I'm being honest, after Gabriel, because I think he is the absolute correct answer.
Yeah.
After Gabriel, I think the person that we miss the second most is Kai Havertz, because he can play anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And the way that Arteta has been talking about him, and I just know that, and that's one of his favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like in some of these games in which we look tired and leggy, Havertz would have played in midfield. He would have
just put in an extra 20% to get us over the line. Even if not with a goal and an assist, like just with his overall contribution. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that because, but he's a forward and we pay 65 million for him and stuff like that. You need to, to a certain degree, I agree, but also you need to get through your head that football has evolved so much that there's certain expectations that you shouldn't have because of what the player is. If you understand what sort of player Kai Havertz is, kind of thing, those sorts of thoughts won't really come to mind. Especially the sort of player he's been for us as well. But yeah, onto our next game, which is Bruges. I think that's, do you know what? I heard it's Tuesday. I don't know if that's true. Is it Tuesday? Because,
oh my God, is that already Tuesday? Jesus Christ.
Because if it's Tuesday, that is mental to me. But it is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, the 10th. When's the 10th?
It says in 4 days. So yeah, that's Wednesday.
That's Wednesday. Okay, cool. So it's Wednesday. Okay, that's fine. So, but again, I personally would like to see the likes of Norgard starting.
I'm actually interested to see why he hasn't played Norgard almost at all. I think he doesn't trust him in that midfield. But I just feel like sometimes fresh legs have to prevail. Like, you just have to get some, like, they look like tired legs and tired minds out there.
I mean, the drop-off between quality on and off the ball between Rice and Norgard is just astronomical.
Of course.
And if we're not winning 3-0, then there's no point. If we're not winning like 2 or 3-0, there's no point of, I suppose, swapping them out, because you just get so much more from Rice. But if we're just looking ahead to the Bruges and Wolves game, I suppose, we should be rotating, even with the injuries, we should be rotating so heavily. I think even Gabby Jesus should get some minutes between between Wednesday and Saturday, Gabby Jesus should be getting some minutes. Do you know? Wanyeri should probably be starting both games. Hopefully Saliba's back by then. I'd play if Saliba's actually fit. I'd play him against Wolves just to get him into the rhythm again as quickly as possible. Because from my understanding, I think he should be back soon. I thought he'd be back today, to be honest, but
so did I. I mean, Cheddar's very vague when he talks about injuries. So he said he's days away. He just missed the Brentford game. So I was like, if he just missed the Brentford game, why has he not played the Aston Villa game? And that one's more important, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's talk about it, actually. Do you think Arteta's learning? You know, just Arteta, the coach staff are learning from previous mistakes about playing players when they're maybe not quite ready yet. Because even with the Trossard, even with the Trossard sub as well, apparently it was pre-planned to get him off, not to play the whole second half, which I think is a lot of things. It's brave and it worked, kind of worked, I suppose. But what do you think it is? Because personally, I think Saliba probably plays this game last season, and
for sure, he absolutely plays this game last season. I think they have been burned too many times, rushing players back from injury. And even when they're not rushing them back, in my opinion, even when they say they're okay, like Ben White will say he's okay, even though he is not. So will Saka. I think he's being extra cautious because, as Pep Guardiola likes to say, season starts now. The season starts in the winter period. Like, obviously you cannot be asked the whole first couple months of the season. Like, we can't be acting like Liverpool, just losing a bunch of games doing nonsense. However, even if you lock in at the winter season onward, that sets you up for winning something or challenging for something. I think that, like you said, if it was last season, he would have played through it. Like 100%. Kai would have played through it. Like, not too long ago, like, was it last season or the season before, Kai played like a whole entire game and then dropped to his knees.
That was dropped to his knees,
like Wolves away. Like, he literally dropped to his knees. He looked like he was about to like suffocate on the pitch. Like, he could not breathe. Like, I was like, you see how tired they are? I was like, all this running, the specific way that we play, I was like, you're gonna have to rotate. You just have to trust players. He started doing it a little bit more with Kivior last season because he had to, but now he's preemptively doing it. You specifically went into the transfer window, trusted Berta to go get you the players that can play in these periods. Now you have to play them. You have to.
I'll be honest with you, and I think I've said it. Apologies if I repeat myself, listeners, but I said it probably about a month or maybe 6 weeks ago. Arsenal, despite everything, I still don't think we're actually going hell and leather just yet. I do think we're saving ourselves a little bit. And I've seen enough evidence to suggest that. And I think the biggest indicator is the way that Arteta is treating the likes of Saka. You know, Saka isn't finishing games. And I think that's a good thing, for sure. But it also tells me that he probably thinks that second half of the season, these players are ready to really start running, like seriously start running. And I think more importantly, this 2 week, essentially 2 week break that the likes of Rice, especially Zubamendi, Saka, Timber can get, because after Bruges, our next league game I'm not dismissing Wolves by any chance, but our next week league game that it's going to be exceptionally tough is Everton away. That's 2 weeks from today. So the players can essentially have sort of like a sort of mini sort of break, almost, if you like. And we go again. And I think that should technically be the start of what I deem us to be like our actual sort of gearing up for, okay, it's winning time. We're looking at January, we're looking at February to be in prime sort of condition. I don't know what you think about that, but
I agree. I mean, for me, like I've always said, I don't really care what happens in the beginning part of the season, as long as we're not losing too many games or drawing too many games like we were last season specifically. We were dropping points everywhere. If I go back to what you said like a little while ago, like when we were talking about the away form, genuinely, the flip side of that coin is we have not dropped a game at home at all. We've won every single game at home except the Man City game, I think. which never happens for us. Never happens for us. The Emirates is becoming a fortress, and that's good because in the second half of the season, we're going to be playing a lot of games at home, and you have to win,
especially against the good side, against the sides that
you need to win them.
Yeah,
it's going to be on the onus of them to come out and try to play us. Like let's be serious here. And when I know I keep saying, like, in my own head, I keep saying, like, when we get all of our players back, I don't think we're ever going to have all of our players back this season. At least 2 or 3 people are going to be out at any given time for some reason. It's just the Emirates is on an ancient burial ground or whatever. However, it's ridiculous. The way that people talk about like Old Trafford has a pentagram underneath their pitch, like we might have one too, and it's going against us.
I mean, I'm not too precious about the injuries now because I see how we're dealing with them in terms of taking care of the players that are fit. It's just when you got a freak accident like Mosquera, do you know what I mean? Or like Odegaard.
That one was so just par for the course.
It's ridiculous.
Like, genuinely.
You know what I mean?
When I seen that article that said 6 to 8 weeks, I said 6 to 8 weeks. He hasn't even really played this season. Like, bro. All right.
Yeah. But, I think that's a good place to leave it. We've moaned enough. Arsenal lost against Aston Villa. Yeah. Arsenal lost against Aston Villa, but we've got Bruges next in the Champions League, and they're a good side despite the results. They're actually a good side, and we've got Wolves next. So we'll catch you guys after Arsenal dismantle Wolves. So yeah, Gabby, you not tell the people?
Don't be discouraged. We're in this for the long run. Peace.
Peace.